Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF mod video. Now today I'll be talking about this little build here I did for Western Digital. Now they approached me recently to do a WD Black themed build, mainly based around their WD SN750 NVMe SSD. And this build is also going to be featured in the APC Magazine, which is run here in Australia. So this video will be going live today, which is Monday. The magazine will also be available for purchase today. It is August, but it is the September edition of the magazine. Now, I just want to talk about this build, and also this build can be won by Australian residents. You just have to go to a website. You don't have to purchase the magazine. You can just jump to a website and you have a chance to win this little beast here. So in this video, I just want to talk about some of the mod things I came up with and sort of my whole design concept around this build. Now, the first sort of challenge I had to come up with, because this is a competition, I couldn't sort of go all out crazy with some of my other builds. I couldn't be fully customized. I couldn't go with custom water cooling and so on. And then I also wanted to come up with a build that anyone would enjoy. Would look clean on a desk no matter who won it, which situation it would be used with. So from this point of view, it looks pretty stock. It looks nice and clean. It's easy to maintain. There's no water cooling. I didn't want to go down the custom water cooling route because not everyone does feel comfortable with custom water cooling. Not everyone knows how to maintain it. Upgrading makes it a little bit difficult. So that's why I've gone with sort of a stock air-cooled config with a NZXT all-in-one cooler up the top there. And then as you sort of come around to the back, if you're familiar with the new SN750 WD SSD, I've gone with the same theme on this front panel. And then as you move around to the back, I've gone the same around the back. So sort of the front side stock and the back is more customized. And I actually do have the working drive on the back here. Yes, that does connect to the system, and that's currently what the OS is installed on. I'll talk about that little mod a little bit later on. And in saying that, I wanted to create the system relatively small and quiet as well. I know a lot of users these days are downsizing. They want something quiet, smaller, and they want something powerful as well. Now, moving back to sort of how I wanted to keep it nice and clean, I didn't want to have something that looked like a spaceship, an alien, something real crazy, just sort of paint thrown on it everywhere, just go crazy with the modding. I didn't really want it to look like a preschooler sort of a paper mache project. I wanted this to be a sort of a suitable build for WD because they are a very professional company, and especially with this black drive, it does look very clean, and that's why I tried to match all these colors with that as well. So you got the blacks, the grays, well, that's pretty much it, black, gray, and then the text is white as well, which kind of looks sort of gray from here, but it is white. Now, moving on to some of the specs I want to cover, of course, we do have a WD Black. This is the SN750 1TB NVMe drive on the back. There is a WD Black 4TB hidden away underneath. That is a standard hard drive. NZXT was another great sponsor. They came to the party with the H200i chassis, of course, the black one. They threw in an NZXT Kraken X52 all-in-one cooler. That looks really nice once lit up. And then we have the NZXT E500 PSU, which is underneath, which you can't really see. Then we have an Intel i5 9600K. Atrey came to the party with their Z390 Phantom Gaming RTX. That is in there, can't really see it, but that is a nice little board there. We got some G.skill Trident Z RGB memory, 16 gigabytes, and ZOTAC threw in their RTX 2070 Mini. Nice little powerful card there, and they're actually just so small. I can't believe how small they get their cards these days. And then we have, of course, some Cable Mod Pro sleeved cables, which I guess in the system here, it's hard to see sleeved cables, but really just the 8-pin EPS, or sorry, 8-pin GPU on the front, and then the EPS up the top there. Now, moving on to some of the mod ideas I came up with to try and sort of do a suitable theme for Western Digital. I reached out to my good friend Tim. If you're at Computex, he was also there helping me out there. He does graphics design, and we sort of sat down and came up with this two-sided panel, one on this side, one on this side, and we pretty much just replicated the heatsink grooves on the SSD itself. So it does have sort of a wavy pattern, and that's what we created here. Once this was done, I took it down to my local acrylic place. They do CNC work, and we got it sort of done, and sort of the brainstorming to come up with the different ideas on what type of material to use. At first I was going to go with aluminum. That would have sort of probably been a bit more robust, easy to work with, but that was going to cost more, and also it's going to be a bit more heavier as well because this build has to be shipped to the winner. So we ended up going with acetal. which is POM. That is the black plastic you see in CPU and GPU blocks. That is very easy to work with. It is light. The only issue is, because we made this quite thin, once the job was done, these panels had a slight little bow to them. So when I secured them to the panel, I just had to make sure I'd got all the corners down nice and tight, so it stayed nice and flat. So that material is nice, easy to work with. It's got a really nice finish, so there's not too much cleaning up to do after you've done the CNC work. The only main issue I had after that was, if you're familiar with the SSD on the heatsink, it's got the little silver tips on the top of each ridge. So once I had this all done black, everything was black, so I had to try and replicate those little silver lines. So first I tried to use vinyl. That didn't stick. I tried using paint with a sponge. That was just too messy. So I ended up looking into like a silver paint pen, and that's the first time I've used one of those, and it actually worked really well. Just by simply putting a ruler up to the edge and just sliding along each one, it actually just covered the whole tips nicely, and it actually gave it a really nice effect. Now, you're probably wondering about how I actually got the drive on the back here. Now that is the live drive, as I said earlier. So with RTX motherboards, you're probably familiar that a lot of them have the M.2 port on the rear and also one on the main side. So because that one on the rear roughly lines up to where I have it on the back here, I sort of did some eBaying and I worked out you can buy some NGFF, which is the next gen form factor. That is the M.2 slot, that's what they call it. You can actually get some extension cables for those. Although they're very short, mine is 20 centimeters, that is the max you can get. I'm pretty sure any length after that, you're going to start limiting on your speeds. But yeah, pretty much has a daughter board that goes into the back of the motherboard. A ribbon cable runs around up into this daughter board, and then your M.2 sort of sticks, sort of slides in and screws on like it normally would. So that's how I came up with that. And then I just put a little cover piece over the top. This can come off. I just wanted to sort of hide away this green area here, because I thought that that would really just sort of ruin the whole style, having that green just glaring out there. And then I just mounted the other daughter board here with some standoffs I found from a old video card cooler, and then the M.2 just sits on. Now just have to bear in mind, when the winner does receive this, you just have to be careful that when he takes his side panel off, there really isn't much slack on that ribbon cable, so he is likely to pull it off and not know that's attached there. What you do have to do is pull the side panel off a little bit. You can get your hand in and unclip the ribbon cable from the back of the motherboard, and then you can take this panel off. Or if the winner wants to, he can move this drive back onto the motherboard M.2, and then he doesn't have to worry about taking that panel on and off and so on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the two main mods for that. Then I just added like the a badge down the bottom here for the WD Black with their logo. Then I added an APC badge down here. That was one of the requirements, but to have their logo on it. And that's pretty much it. I didn't put any other sponsored logos. I didn't want to have like a whole wall of sponsored logos on the back and all that. I just don't really think that looks right on builds. I just think having the hardware in the builds, logos visible, is good for the sponsors for this build. And as I said before, you can win this build. I'll throw the link down below. You just have to enter in a few details, your name and so on, and why you would want to win this little beast. And it is for Australian residents only, because the company is based here in Australia. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this build. Let us know what you think about it. Let us know what you think about this design, if this is something you would like on your desk or so on. If it's not, let me know why. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just want to thank Western Digital and APC for giving me the chance to do this. Hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more.